Okay, hi, welcome everyone. Good to see you. My co-host is not getting into the room. Strange. Oh. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi. Hi.
Does my speaker work? I don't know.
There is Barret. I got worried for a moment.
My video doesn't work. I don't know. Let's see. I can sort that out.
Who is it that doesn't have the video?
Kubus. Jakubus.
Jacobus. Hi.
Hello. Hello. I just have to sort out the video. I don't know why it's not showing. Let me see.
Barret, quick question. Was it difficult to get in?
Yeah, I had a different link somehow. The link that I was using was not this one. So I have shared the wrong link with a few people. I'm going to be messaging them really quick here.
Okay. While you do that, I will start by playing a song. It's so nice to see you, everyone. Hi. I just took a walk in the sun and the snow and the cold and listened to different songs. And one was You and I Are Meant to Fly. And I would like to play it because I feel it's appropriate for one thing, because I had an experience a week and a half ago that I can perhaps share a little bit about. And also because this song is just really wonderful. So let's just sink in and enjoy Celine Dion. So, okay, thank you for joining us today. So the topic today is from ego to joy. It's a great topic. And I don't know, do you want to introduce the topic, Barret? We haven't really.
Yeah, we've had some really good conversations around what to have as our topic for today. And the one constant, I think, in all of them is the word joy. Because joy is really the purpose of the course. It's really why we do this work, to help us get into our true state of being. And that true state of being is joy. Eventually we just kind of came up with this from ego to joy, because this is the journey that we're all taking. This journey from our fear, from our anxiety, from our upset, to the state of our truth. And this truth doesn't end, it doesn't shift. It's always there for us. But we're often shifting out of it, right? We're shifting out of that truth. So how do we make that shift again? How do we come back into our reality and step out of the ego's, layer that we've descended into once again? And this is what we're going to be really supporting everyone in doing here in our time together, is coming into that truth, coming into that shift out of the fear, out of the tension, out of the lack of ease, into being, into love, into joy. So I feel really grateful to be with everyone here today. I think we're in for a real treat. I know that Spirit is guiding this whole time together, and yeah, we'll just be making this journey together.
Yeah, everyone that's here has been guided here. So, and it's turned out that those meetings have become like deeply healing and interactive. So just know that from the beginning, that if you have some call in your heart that for healing, for an area in your life, this meeting can be used. So just open to that idea if you're carrying something that feels heavy for you. Yeah, I had a oneness experience a week and a half ago, I think it was. Something like that, 2 weeks ago maybe. And I completely left my body, so that I was everywhere, and I was not located, and I was not in the personality. It was like really being everything, being everywhere, and I went in and out of it. So I laughed when I became located again, and it seemed so small. And it was as if I was traveling between some different conscious states of consciousness. So that was a wonderful experience. It's very, it's very abstract. It's hard to talk about it. But I read in the course today how healing it is to forget the body. So I think it was healing. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I love that sharing, Jenny. I recently was giving a talk on a Course in Miracles, and the title of the talk is Love Knows No Bodies. So the pure state of our reality is beyond bodies completely. And it really sounds like you came into that experience.
Yeah, I did. And I was on, and it went on one evening and then a whole day after. And that day we were traveling. Andrew was coming with me. On my screen, he's next to me right now. And he's waving. He was coming along to New Jersey. And it was hard to travel when you're nobody. And I told him I don't need to travel to New Jersey with the body. I can just go there in my mind. And he's like, what about me? So he took me in the car and took me to the airport. And before we went into the airport, he said, shall I park, or are you just gonna go? Are you just gonna leave the body and not do this with me? And somewhere I found a way to say, no, I think you're taking me to New Jersey. There was a wheelchair involved and everything. And then there was a part of my mind that didn't feel to demonstrate sickness in any way in a wheelchair. So with willingness, I was able to walk and talk in the airport, and we got to New Jersey. So it was a very interesting day for both of us, I think. Yeah. So I feel pretty emptied out of speech, and as usual, I never really feel, like I have a long thing to share unless I'm activated by somebody bringing up a topic or a feeling that they're going through. So I think we can open up right away, Barret, unless you.
That sounds good.
Yeah. So you have a way to, you can wave with your hand, or you can wave electronically through the chat, I think. If anybody has something. So Patrick is asking, what was your visual or perceptual experience during the unity experience? So it was, so I can share more about it. It was, because it was different stages. Like the first part of it was an experience of self-love, actually. And I wasn't on ayahuasca or anything like that. But I experienced self-love, and then like expansive love, which included everything. And then I went into a glimpse of the future, or I asked the question about some guidance we have received about location. And I asked, is it this location or that location? And I heard like 3 times or more, like I heard a location, which was Spain. So it looks like I might be in Spain, and Andrew too, perhaps. But so it was an experience of being able to ask anything and receiving answers. And I was in that state. I was like actually traveling, flying. That's why I like the song today, because it felt as if I was flying for a moment. And that was connected to when I heard Spain. And but then it was so abstract. Then there was no perception other than when Andrew came and called my name, and I wondered where the voice came from, and I laughed at him because I don't know, because being located was so strange. And it was scary. The message also was, it can be scary if there is no connection to spirit or to a greater consciousness. It was, I could sense how it could be scary. I wasn't really scared. I was a bit scared, I remember. But I realized how scary it can be for someone who doesn't have a connection to spirit, or who has a lot of investment in the body and personality. Because leaving the personality, and not being anyone, then yeah, it can be scary. But the message I received was that you can move from the fearful place to a higher place of love if you find yourself there, if you find yourself lost in that place. And it was interesting, the other day we watched What Dreams May Come, which is a bit about that, the movie. Yeah. So how is everyone doing today? Is there any feelings up? Carrie, I unmute you. You're unmuted, Carrie, so you can.
Oh, great. If there's any screaming in the background, and I've got I've got a sick child downstairs, so yeah. Thanks for doing this again. I really didn't want to talk. I felt like my ego was screaming at me, like, don't you open your mouth. So that's why I raised my hand. But yeah, so it's been like a really interesting week, because there's been, since I can remember, there's been, fear that's popped up in my life since I was a child, and it would feel so overwhelming, and I would usually feel completely powerless over it, which was interesting. I think it was like exactly what the ego intended, was for me to feel like a victim of the body. So, and it has never really been fully resolved, and I keep sort of chipping away at it because I've been afraid to really dive in. But about a week and a half ago, for some reason, I found myself doing like a food cleanse, and that seemed to trigger a lot of brain fog, and then there was so much anxiety in the body, and I found myself again feeling like, wow, this body's really sensitive. But then immediately what came to me was, no, this is nothing to do with the body. This is everything to do with the belief that you have that, you're frail. It's the guilt and sin and belief in sin in my mind that's showing up in the body. And it was like the first time I could actually see that, which was amazing, but I was still feeling all the effects. So what sort of kept coming to me was this idea of like, the ego's going to do what the ego's going to do, but that has nothing to do with you. So the body may continue to feel this way while you still believe in that. And that's okay. We're just practicing giving it up. So it's been a really nice exercise in like developing trust and faith, because what I'm finding is that, yes, there's still some kicking and screaming coming up from time to time. In the last week, it's been really intense at times. And I just feel like I keep being told like that I almost don't even need to worry about that. Like, it's nothing to do with me. It's like, it's as though it's like I'm reminded that just like in the same way children can kind of kick up a tantrum sometimes and I don't need to respond. It's like that same symbolism has been coming into my mind. It's like just an upset child. And the other thing that I realized is that when I look back to all these episodes of sickness in my life, it's always come after a huge opening of me feeling closer to Jesus, or like I'm really feeling that relationship is being deepened. So I kind of can see through it in a different way. And it doesn't scare me in the same way that it used to. And it feels really friggin' good to feel that way. So I just wanted to share that. There's definitely still a little bit of fear around it, but I just keep exposing it as much as I can. So thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. That's wonderful. That's good news. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, all of us have our different ways of being attached to the body, and many of us have it around, eating the right thing, and the health of hormones and the system and all.
Oh yeah. It's just been such a theme. And I mean, I know Frances has talked before so many times about how she tried every single diet, and it was like, oh my gosh, these are my words, this is my experience, I've tried everything. And I've always believed that it's been a supplement that has come in to save the day. I really have. And I've been asking for the last year, please help me let go of this belief, because it's not serving me and it's reinforcing my belief and seeking for love in all the wrong places. And I don't want to keep doing that. So I've really sort of, it's just been such a cool experience that I feel like I've been guided. Like the cleanse was no accident, and the cleanse was a blessing, because it triggered all this fear around the body. And to see that it's never been like the salvation's never been in the body or the food or the supplement. It's always been, so it's cool.
That's really
I feel like I'm sure I still have some, some work to do around this, because it's been a long standing belief, but it feels lighter. So it feels nice.
Yeah. That idea that like it can't hurt, or, the idea I'm going to eat something that helps, or because it can't hurt, it must be helpful in some way. But like, what if we, dropped all those beliefs, even the belief it can't hurt,
Totally.
The only way to apply it is, guidance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we all have our categories, or one or more categories that are sort of our big ego pulls, right? We really get hooked into them, whether it's diet, supplements, or anything. And a lot of times as we're on our journey, we swear we're going to quit cold turkey, right? We're going to quit this attachment cold turkey, and then no, maybe just a little bit, and it's a part of our process just to notice that, right? To notice that sort of magnetic draw back in, as the ego is very slippery, and it will find every avenue to try to keep itself going. And so this is why over time, we become more and more vigilant. And I just feel that vigilance in you, and it's cool to be a witness to.
It feels I felt for this first time in dealing with this issue that has literally come up probably 1,000 times since I was born. I finally felt this sense of like excitement about actually looking at it. And my father was like, must be because you're ready to handle it. So it felt nice. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah, I've had several experiences similar. I was on a yoga retreat one time, and they were going to do something called Shanka, and everyone was throwing up around me, and they did these exercises and they did this cleanse, and Spirit was like having me not do it for different reasons. There was a very clear and obvious I wasn't going to do it, and it was guided for me not to do it, but the belief was strong that it would have been helpful, or it would help on some level. But I feel that's the job that Spirit is doing with our minds, to undo this gradation of what is helpful and what is not helpful, because we do not know. We have literally given everything the value and the meaning that we believe it has, literally, and it's all magic, like anything around the body, anything. And I know we all carry different stuff around the body, different beliefs and fears, So there is this invitation to really become a blank slate and really really relax. You don't have to fix yourself and improve and better and think that we have a much greater experience waiting for us than that.
Yeah, all this sort of is a beautiful, fits really nicely in with this experience I've been having today, this morning, which physically has felt like a sort of ache in the back of my neck, and which is unusual. I don't usually have this. As I kept listening in, what is this ache in the neck saying? I just sort of got the sense that it's about the part of us that doesn't want to listen, right? The throat chakra, to speak about the chakras, it's about communication. And the back of the throat chakra is about receiving communication. And so the sense I have is that for all of us here today, there is some resistance to receiving communication. There's some resistance to going to that completely blank slate that we're talking about here today. And just seeing that, acknowledging, as much as a part of us is really on board, really willing to examine and explore and hand it over to spirit, that there's also something in us that is saying, hell no, hell no, I want it my way. And just being with that part of us that is still so deeply attached to, maybe it's a supplement, maybe it's a plan, maybe it's, even as Jenny was saying, maybe it's being attached to a location. This is where I need to be, right? Noticing any sort of fear thoughts, any sort of judgments, any sorts of thoughts that this is connected to my state of well-being. Because none of that's true. And what do we do with that? Well, we just hand that over to spirit too. We just hand the fear around that over to spirit. And we just watch it start to melt away. Sometimes it melts quickly when we do that. We've all had those experiences. We go over to spirit and all of a sudden, whew, we just feel like instantly better. But we've probably also all had the times where we're doing our best to give it over and it doesn't seem to change. The upset's still there. But it's still important to give it over, even if we don't feel like we're getting that instant gratification, an instant release. Mm-hmm. This is a cumulative process. Miracles are habits.
Yeah. And what seems helpful in the process is to have a companion or companions when you want to hand it over, someone to share it with, someone to express it to. So that's also the invitation for this Zoom room now, is if there is such a thing for you, don't hesitate, like share it with us. You don't need to feel like you take up our time, or because this is a joint healing experience and we cannot go home without you, so to speak. So any topic, any theme, any feeling is welcome and okay. I've experienced it. So when I visited Barret, we went through some deep healing sessions, and I couldn't have done it if I had not started to share and speak up about some deep stuff that was in my mind. So and he did too. So this is what we can do for each other. We can do it directly with the Holy Spirit, of course, and it can be the same, the same healing and the same powerful experience. But sometimes our habitual way of thinking, like we need a companion to break patterns sometimes. So are there any other hands? Eva?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for the invitation. I think that's so beautiful, and I can just say that I can see how much resistance I have around this communication, but it's not like deciding that I don't want to, because I can feel that I really would like to share, because I feel every sharing is so helpful, and I think it's such a gift. Whatever shared, I can feel for me, it's such a gift when I hear others share. And I think for me it has been like, if we think the theme, joy, it has been like, so yeah, it has drawn me. I think the message of joy and what I have seen of joy. But it's like everything I have experienced around A Course in Miracles and the community, and it has been like, I have no language for this. I have no words. And I don't know why, because I can see that I think for me it would be fine to find the words to express, but it has felt like this is something so different from what I can see that I have lived. I have lived so much out of fear. So when this comes in, it comes directly in my heart, but I have very much difficulties in expressing what's going on. But I feel a lot. I feel very much, and I can also see maybe this has been a limit for me, that I haven't been really have dared to have experiences like, but I have had glimpses of like being without a body, and so I have, it's like I know something. This is what I know, and when you speak about it, I know it, and it feels joyful to hear, because I can feel yes. This is, but to be part of it, I just can say I want to open up to really allow myself to see I'm in. I'm not outside, even if I can see my blocks more and more and more. But so just thank you for the invitation.
Thank you, Eva Britt.
Yes.
I feel your heart. So, we don't have to have the words. You and I are maybe not big in words, but
yes,
like that experience. And what came to me just is that, like the body has no purpose, the body has no purpose. Can we take that in? It's
I love you.
have you. Have you a few more hands? And I saw Campbell. Campbell, you raised your physical hand right as Eva raised hers. So you're first if you would like to speak.
I think she may be. Oh, are you here? You were frozen for a bit.
She's frozen, and I tried to unmute. I don't know if somebody else tried to unmute. We can go with Sarah.
Hi.
Hi.
I guess this last week, I've really just been feeling like I'm in over my head with all of this. And I guess just how identified I am with self-judgment thoughts, especially around my family, speaking of. And I see all of these patterns of special love in my relationship with my kids, with my husband, and it's like instead of wanting to truly look at it, I just want to shut down on it and judge it and say special love is wrong. So the tendency is to shut down. And I don't know that, I guess I don't have any more to really share than that. That's just what I'm noticing. And I've been feeling very dispirited about it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you for sharing that, Sarah. Just to kind of mention what comes up in my mind as you speak, Sarah, is this feeling that sometimes when we're closing off in any connection or relationship, it can be because there is actually a fear of love. So even on the surface, as it looks like you're rejecting a special relationship or trying not to have a special relationship, on another level, there's maybe a part of you that's very afraid of really deep love with these people.
So I guess I can see that, and that theme has been presenting itself. Just fear of intimacy, fear of love. How do you fix that?
I mean, for me, as you spoke, was that, the spirit is not absent from anyone in any situation. Came to mind, and we all have steps to take. We all have a curriculum, and our situation, your situation, is your perfect space for the lessons that you need to go through. It's perfect. So I think that the ego will trick us and say it's hopeless, and I shut down, and this is just not possible. But that's where we always need to stay open to a miracle, actually, to an opening in our mind, in our heart, in our experience of spirit reaching us, because the spirit reaches us always, and it's only our patterns and blocks and beliefs. It's the beliefs that shuts it out of experience. And no situation is too hopeless or too difficult. I think this, combined with Barret's answer about the fear of love, is, as your recipe to take the steps and allow spirit to use the form of your family, and what is there to face the fear and to step through it.
Thank you.
Yeah, how does the feel?
There's a symbol of love right in front of us here.
Precious. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
We have Walter next.
Hi, Jenny.
Hi, Walter. Nice to see you.
Good to see you. Yeah, I like to share stuff that's been going on for me. Um, the past few weeks, there's been a lot of anger that just comes up, and it's like, and it sometimes it's very directed at what's happening in front of me, but a lot of times I just get anger, and then it kind of attaches to whatever thoughts I'm having at the time, and and so I start getting fantasies of anger in the thoughts that I'm having, and it's like so it's like the anger, wherever it's coming from, just attaches to whatever is there. But anyway, that's been going on, and one of the things in my course group that I go to, that we were going to have a movie afternoon on this past Sunday, and I was very resentful to the one woman that was that decided that it was going to be a certain movie. It was going to be Groundhog's Day. And I've seen that like 20 times, and I wasn't really interested. And she wouldn't consider just not having it. And so I was really angry at that. And, but at the same time, I was like kind of trying to give it over to Holy Spirit and let that out, let that go. And on Sunday morning, I woke up, and I'm still kind of not feeling right about it, at this, and angry. And so that whole thing that you choose the day that you want, right? And that's what I did. I said, Holy Spirit, I want a day of peace and tranquility. I don't want to be angry anymore today. And I just give it all over to you. I said that. And I actually truly meant it. And so whatever was happening, whatever I wanted for breakfast or wherever, and I just started to get really, really, really peaceful. And so it was like, it does work. At least it did that one day for me. It's still kind of weird, worn off, and I'm still kind of peaceful with that. And so I just asked, well, what's going on with this movie? And I just got, well, email Aggie and tell her, what went on with you. And so I did. But I was really in a peaceful place when I did it. And then she calls back and she's like, oh, you just hit me with I felt that anger coming from you and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, it was in the past, but it's not now. I didn't say that, but so it's like, well, it's not me that's projecting that. That was her. That was her that was taking that, and that's her experience of it. And but I was just, and she wanted to, oh, how about if you, it's really disappointing, and start throwing a lot of guilt on me. And then she calls back and says that she wants, well, how about if you come and we'll decide as the group what to have? And I'm still getting no. I'm not meant to go. And so I finally no, Gaggy, the movie is right. The movie is right for whoever goes to it. It's right for them. It's not, and I'm not there. I'm not going to come. And it's not because I'm angry or anything, but it was just it was like peaceful. It came from that place of peace and tranquility that I asked for. And it was like, I really never really expected, it's like it was a miracle, because I really didn't expect the Holy Spirit or whoever or myself that that would actually happen for me. That I'm going to ask for it in the morning. I guess this is the day I want, and I give this all over to you, and that's what actually happened. So I just want to share that it does work. At least it did for me that one day, and it's just amazing that when I just let it out, let it over, give it over, and give all decisions to I don't know, and it's not for me to make these decisions, and just to listen. to the guidance that comes. And then I am at so much peace when that happens. So I just wanted to share. And, you know, I'm sure that more anger is going to come and all the other stuff, but at the moment, I'm still fairly in a tranquil, peaceful place. And
yeah.
so anyway, just like to share that with all.
Thank you, Walter. Thank you. Yeah, the need is to remember that we are worthy of
Absolutely.
questioning how we feel, questioning the beliefs, because otherwise they will rule. And you said that one day it worked, you know, and that's how it feels often, you know, especially in the beginning maybe of the journey, and it may be a long beginning, but that there are those just certain times when it seems to work, and then the rest of our life is just this ongoing, you know, boredom or whatever. But and that will actually trigger the rage. I would say there is the rage that is, and it's huge. The rage is huge, and there can be a fear of the rage, but it's so important to acknowledge it, allow it, let it lead you towards where you're meant to go. Don't judge it as wrong or any other feeling for that sake. You know, it's important to be led here and to question what you think is right, actually. The spirit does have a plan, and we can get into the groove of the spirit's plan as fast as we want to, and it's great. And so the more we are able to question and do exactly what you did that day, you know, the quicker we get to this joy. And it can include some shifts and changes and, you know, new things, but there's nothing bad about that.
No. Just allow whatever comes to just and you know, and it's just it's all good. It's all for me. It's all for my healing. It's all for my, you know, and that's so I appreciate even the anger when it comes now. I just, okay, here it is. But I also appreciate the peaceful day I had too. So.
Yeah, thank you. You are getting out of Groundhog Day. It's like, I do not want to see that movie. It's my life. Please.
Right.
Yeah, and just really underline, you know, that section that talks about, you know, decide what kind of day you want. That's the rules for decision section. I'm pretty sure it's in chapter 30, and it's excellent. So if there's anyone here who's not familiar with it, I encourage you to go over that. Or if you are familiar with it, maybe another pass through it. It's just really got a lot of great nuggets in it about how to keep coming back to the peace within us. You know, our days don't always feel very peaceful, but the opportunity for peace is in every moment. So we just have to keep remembering.
Thank you.
Yeah, beautiful.
Beautiful. I just want to, before we go on to Patrick, I just want to thank you, Barret, for bringing up the neck pain. I've had neck pain the whole morning as well. And it's totally gone now as we communicate here. As we open up to this meeting, and you know, we can blame the weather, it's cold and windy or whatever, but no, I believe I'm gonna still believe it's about the communication. We are communication channels, and there is no other purpose. The body, I said, the body has no purpose, but if it has one, it is communication. You know, I'd say that's the one purpose. Yeah. So thanks, Patrick. Now it's your turn.
Hello, everyone. I've been appreciating what people have been saying and resonating with it, and it kind of brought up some confusion I have had. So often, you know, I get negative messages about the ego and the body, and it's, for me, I think it led to a confusion about a confusion between about rejection and what was the term that Carrie used about sort of, or someone used like shutting down as sort of a way of of controlling the ego, I guess. But my understanding now is that the ego can be transcended and the body can be transcended in the sense that I can experience spirit with, I don't have to be just separate. I can still engage and in life and experience the spirit. So it's not that, the problem is that if I'm distracted in thinking that I am the ego and, you know, that I am those beliefs, then, you know, I get lost in it. But I can have the transcendent experience of spirit, and also just the point about I think my guidance and the path is that I need to be engaged in life and doing things. I can't just you know, shut down and think that I'm being spiritual. So so those are just some thoughts that I've been having, sort of along the lines of allowing rage or whatever it is and also to have a situation where I value these meetings just so that I can, you know, bring up what's happening with me. And so the part of engagement is, I guess, engaging. I mean, it's all internal anyway, but really engaging with what's happening myself, and also in, like, you know, apparent things that appear to be outside of myself. Well, those are just what's going on in general with me. I wanted to mention.
Thank you for sharing those reflections.
Yeah. I think there's a process that we all go through as we work with this course and this path of coming from less clear thinking, less clear beliefs about what's happening to more and more clear. And, you know, when I hear you sharing, Patrick, it's like you're on this journey of sort of coming into more clarity. And it's a process. You know, the times when we're in a place of confusion or uncertainty, that's scary. It's not fun to be in these places. And I guess I'm just here to say that that's a temporary experience, that the clarity is what is true and what is eternal. And your kind of diligence and persistence with this path is the key to getting through the lack of clarity into the light. You know, we move through the kind of the clouds back into the light. And there's a beautiful workbook lesson where Jesus is talking about this, and he asks us to take his hand. You know, if we're wandering around in the clouds and the fog by ourselves, we might just wander in circles, it seems like. But when we have a guide who actually knows how to help us emerge from them, we can be sure in taking their hand that we will be guided exactly where we need to go, even if we can't see a darn thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good. It is a maze. We are lost in a forest of our beliefs, and it is like we have to face one face them one at a time, or yeah, just be willing to go through it. You're so willing, and it's great that you share. So thank you. So I'm not sure who is next. I think it's Barbara. Cambo is back. You're first.
Oh, you unmuted me, didn't you? Can you hear me?
Yes.
I've had some internet difficulty today. Sorry, I'm Camille Bork.
Camille, hi.
Yeah, hi. I don't know how Cambo got up there, but I'm Camille. And I want to share, I need to keep very simple-minded about my process. I don't seem to be able to grasp complexity right now. And where I'm at is that I'm working to remember I am responsible for everything I see, and that anytime I see attack, I have attacked myself. And this shows up in my life in funny ways. And I'm trying to remember to ask Holy Spirit every single minute that I'm not at perfect peace, because I know that perfect peace is my identity. And so this is all intertwined with special relationships. I've come to realize that my special relationships keep me in fear. And so I have this little tiny old dog, sweetest little guy, and he's going through frailty at the moment in his body, it seems to me. And I'm have the suffering that I'm going to lose him. And I was sitting suffering one day, he was sick, and I asked Holy Spirit, just take the suffering away. Let nobody suffer. Don't let me suffer. Let nobody suffer. Let nobody suffer. And boom, it was gone. And I know that whenever I ask, I'm answered. But then there's times when I get into fear that I forget to ask, and they seem to be involved with time, because if I'm sitting quietly and I have time to process, I remember to ask and I am answered. And if things are happening fast in the world, I forget. And I was with my little dog at the park, and this big German Shepherd attacked me. I mean, this dog attacked me, and I love dogs. I love every dog on the planet. This dog attacked me, and I wasn't afraid for myself. I was afraid for my little dog, my special relationship with this little dog. And my husband took the little dog, and I stood there and tried to ward off the big dog. And if I had just remembered to be still and to ask Holy Spirit to bring peace to the situation, later, as I was analyzing all this later, I realized that it was my attack thoughts that were attacking me, because there's this law that you're not supposed to let your dog off the leash at the park. And I'm like, okay, well, as long as the dogs don't come near my little dog, I don't care, whatever. But this dog attacked me, and it was because I originally attacked with the idea that people shouldn't do something. And so it took time for me to understand that. But in the heat of the moment, that's when I can't seem to remember that I can ask for help and that I'll be answered immediately. And so to recap all of this, I know that everything I seem to see is my responsibility, and that I can choose to see peace, and that I can choose to see oneness, and that I can choose to see inclusiveness every single second. And when I'm not, I forget to ask sometimes in the heat of the moment. And a lot of the fear that I experience in my life is revolving around fear of special relationships. Like, I wasn't scared that big German Shepherd was going to hurt me. I was afraid he was going to hurt my little dog, and I had to protect that dog. And so I can't seem to, I want to be able to remember when I'm in the heat of the moment to ask Holy Spirit to stand still and know that I am God, and to ask Holy Spirit to give me clarity, put me back in my right mind.
Yeah, thank you. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would say I think you were saying that your special relationships are keeping you in fear, but I would say your fear is keeping your special relationships special. So out of fear, we create special relationships for safety, and then there can be just so much fear that we just cling to the special relationships, which are beliefs in our mind, but they are represented by people or dogs or any type of relationship. So we do need to always put them on the altar, like always, and that doesn't mean leaving them behind always, but to give them to the Holy Spirit. Because there's so much guilt bound into them. I hear the words, I free you. I free you. And that's the Spirit.
So on this topic around all of our relationships, we don't have to feel guilty because we love someone or a pet or anything in the world. We just have to be aware if there's fear in us around losing that. That's really what we want to heal, because the love is pure, right? The love is what's real. We don't want to lose the love, and we can't really lose the love. All we really want to let go of is the fear around possibly losing love, or some variation on that theme. So I think you're right on, Camille, in that it is continuing to practice. You get that you want to come into your right mind more and more.
Yeah.
And the way that we do that is we keep acknowledging these fears, whatever they look like. The fear of your dog being attacked. It could be anything, though. And we just let these fears come up. And as Jenny is saying, then we just hand that over to Spirit. We put it on the altar. And we do our best to let it go. And a lot of times when we're putting these things on this altar, it's like we're putting them up there and we're like, oh, but I want to keep holding on to this little bit. And that's okay, right? It's okay that we're not 100% ready to let it go on the altar. But say we're 70% ready in that moment. Well, let that 70% go. Come back to the rest later. The next time maybe you'll let a little bit more go. This is why this whole experience is an ongoing process. That's why Jesus says over and over again, all we need is a little willingness, right? If we keep being a little willing, eventually we get to where he says later in the course, where you need abundant willingness. But he knows we don't start off with abundant willingness. We have to work up to that. We have to train to get to the abundant willingness. So all of these experiences you're going through, Camille, and these are the perfect training situations. So definitely, notice the love you have for your dog. But where the healing is not your love for your dog. It's around the fear around your dog. That's where the healing really is.
Yeah. Thank you.
I saw the dog kissing you earlier. And I see the dog on the altar in the light. He's on the altar in the light.
Yes, he is.
He belongs, and where all our relationships belong. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Camille. Very nice to see you finally. I've known you for so long.
I know that.
I never saw your face. So, nice to see you. Yeah. So I think Barbara is next.
Okay. We were talking about fear of love, and I've been undoing a lot of feelings when it comes to I am unworthy, and that has been a subject that has been ongoing for the last year. And it's still not undone, but I'm quite happy that I recently have a feeling of being in peace, more consistent. And that is so lovely. But I can see that there are still unworthy. I am unworthy feelings going on. And I just pick one thing after the other. And when it comes to, I've been losing some of my friends who are not looking at life as I am doing, and it's coming up feelings of being alone, and I have also fears and feelings of being abandoned, and I can also, this is for me, just talking to you all is for me quite a big thing. I don't speak about my person in like this for a lot of people, and expose my feelings, and because I wasn't brought up in that way. So and I can see that I am afraid of getting what you say, judged by other people, and being rejected. So that's what's going on for me for the moment. And I would like to put that onto the altar for the Holy Spirit.
Thank you so much, Barbara. Thank you. It's so good that you're here and sharing with us. Yeah, it's important to give yourself the opportunity to join and be with like-minded, and other friends may drop out because of your purpose and your direction, and so good opportunities to face the abandonment and the fear, and
our spiritual path is one where we're continually confronting a belief in loss. And so this is what's coming forward for you. The sense, if I keep going forward, I'm going to lose everyone I love, right? It's not true, but that's maybe part of the fear here. And what is that but a reflection of the belief that we have lost God's love, right? Which also is not true, but we all do believe it, not necessarily consciously, but within our being, we believe that somehow God is apart from us. We're unworthy of returning. You know, in the Western world, the Adam and Eve myth really kind of speaks to this, being barred from heaven.
Yeah, when you, Barret, talk about being abandoned by God, I can feel that straight away in my heart. And I feel the tears coming up. And I can also see that I have a fear toward Jesus as well. I know that he is around me all the time, but at the same time, I feel I'm not worthy of this connection, so I call it the Holy Spirit instead.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I know it's Jesus helping me. So there is a fear of love as well.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah. Yeah. You're welcome. And I know, I'm just going to share a bit of my own personal journey here too, because it is reflected in what you're saying. I very much access past lives and connect with my own past lives, as well as support other people and, seeing what they've been through to help in healing. And I had a past life where I was connected to Jesus. In fact, in this past life, I was one of the Romans that nailed Jesus to the cross. And this experience of coming into this memory and to seeing this happening was both devastating and deeply loving, because what I saw in this moment after I had hammered this nail into his wrist was that he didn't cry out. And when I went to look at him, because I was surprised that he didn't yell like everyone else did, all I saw was a face full of love, pure love looking back at me. And I didn't know what to make of it. It was just so all-encompassing that here in this midst of one of the worst kinds of attack that can happen to a body, he was unfazed. And it's because he knew so deeply that all he was the love. All that was real was pure God, pure love, pure peace. That even that level of attack couldn't touch him, couldn't touch what he really is, and it can't touch what we really are either. So I just offer that to you as a part of your path too.
Yeah, it has been a lot of healing from earlier lifetimes as well. And I just need to take one step at a time, because it has been quite intensive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you for telling me.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Barbara. Maybe we can talk later. I feel like we can talk about a group session, maybe you and I and Barret.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like a healing one-on-one session, two-on-one session. So Michelle had her hand up, but it's not up anymore. And Peter. Oh, 1 second. Now start again, please.
Yeah. Hi, Jenny.
Hi, Peter. Good to see you.
Hi, everybody else. You asked what, right at the beginning, or when I came on, what I had in my heart. So I looked and I experienced this sort of irritation, and I was experiencing it around you. And so I looked at it, and then what came up was the fear of abandonment, separation. And I think I was fearing that you're going to tell me to end my relationship. And So yesterday I had a conflict in that relationship, but it seemed to, by the evening, seemed to have sort of resolved itself. But the whole, the question of the relationship came up, and I had a lot of fear and terror yesterday. And although I was feeling easier today, and I spoke to Yvonne this morning, she lives elsewhere, it just came up, this terror came up so strongly here, and I really didn't want to speak about it. So I just stayed with it, and I could totally empathize with Barret, who spoke. And I was aware that after a while, I just felt calmer. But I'm aware that this terror around what I call abandonment, but I think it's separation stuff, has been a lifelong difficulty. And I can see how I struggle just to stay present and while everybody else was sharing. And I just thought, oh, I could contact you, try and have an individual session. I don't want to do this. And then I just thought, another part of me, I just don't want to run away, which is what it feels like. I don't want to just go away with this, because I know. The thought of being alone or sort of brings up sort of survival, and I know I have to face this. I want to face this. So it comes up with the idea of the end of this relationship. I've been looking at attachment and specialness a lot. I've been very aware for a month or two of really attachment in general coming up very strongly. With my sort of family, root family, my sister died end of last year, so there was a family gathering, and I was just very aware of this pull of loyalty, and I literally, I'm not sure if I even really know anymore the difference between love and attachment right now.
Yeah, just gonna say the meeting, we have gone over time a little bit. We go an hour and 15, but we can go over, we can maybe go an hour and a half today. Just to mention that, but yeah, Peter, I'm just so with you. We talked about the forest and the maze of, of this journey. And it is so important to be so gentle with ourselves and just take it so gently through this, and there is this huge belief in loss. It is so, and that, yeah, and then you say you're afraid. I will tell you let go of your girlfriend, and but yeah, so that's a projection of that fear of loss. Yeah, if you want a session with me too later sometime, we can go deeper into it and talk more about it. But yeah, I thank you for expressing.
Thank you. I think I would like to do that. So yeah, there's been a lot of movement for me in a lot of ways. So I can see this is up now. Anyway, I'll stop. So thank you. Yeah. It was helpful just to speak.
Yeah, I'm glad you joined us today.
Yeah, me too. It's good to see you, Jenny.
Yeah,
Haven't been in touch for a while.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah, I'll be back in Europe in, I don't know, a month and a half or something like that.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I saw that yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
So yeah, I got the invite yesterday. So for this too. So.
Yeah. Great.
I would just add, Peter, you're right on track. Even though it might feel kind of chaotic and uncertain, you're right in place.
Thank you. It's helpful. Thank you. I appreciated what you said to Barbara about past life, because that resonated quite deeply with me, what you said. Thanks.
Yeah. I just kind of feel called to expand on that a little bit, which is that oftentimes in our journey, we are really feeling like we're in a bad place or a really rough patch. And we may be judging ourselves. Maybe we feel like we're not doing it right, or we're not forgiving enough, or whatever it is. But we can't actually know that where we are isn't exactly where we're supposed to be. And Jesus says, I do not perceive my own best interests. He doesn't say, and or but after that. He just says, I do not perceive my own best interests, period.
That's why I spoke, actually. And I appreciated with Jenny saying, just being kind with myself, because I could feel that was spot on. And otherwise, I feel quite well in myself, mostly. So relatively speaking. So other than, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Can't be in the right place at the right time. That's where we are. Yeah. We have one more hand, and that's Anne's. So is it something short, Anne? We give you the space here.
Okay, I don't even know, Jenny. But hi, everybody.
Good to see you, Anne.
So for the past year, I've just had this thing around my finances that's been overwhelming at times and terrifying, and I feel like there's been an unwinding from it. You know, like there's been resentment, putting it out there. There's been all sorts of stuff going on. But yeah, I think I've got a lot of answers from what's already been said. It's like, it gets very uncomfortable at times. I still am uncertain if I'm hearing guidance or not, and being uncertain which way to go. I have a small business that I get so frozen with that I can't move forward. And I've just got other employment, and I moved through that like speed of lightning. You know, it was so simple for me to do. So it's like, so I get very uncertain around things, but yeah, past life stuff's come into this as well, you know, finances, you know, like in a previous life. And I also had neck pain yesterday, really, really strong, you know, like, and I used to suffer from that, and I haven't done for such a long time. So this is just good, just to communicate here, you know, any way forward and out of this. It's, you know, I don't think I'm even looking for answers, but I'm open to them, you know, around the financial stuff. I'd like somebody to just write me out, right, you do this, 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 and this, and then it'll be all okay, you know.
You look for answers.
Yeah. Somebody external, you know, but I know that somewhere inside I have the answers. But it's just felt such a long process, you know, around money. But it needed to, I guess it needed to come up and start to be healed.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a direct, connection to fear, like in general, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, that feels like the area where it's kind of juiciest for me. That's the where it comes up over and over and over, really.
But yeah, it's, you know, it's scary to think we are this little personality self that has to take care of itself. You know, there is such a, that place, that whole place, whatever is to that is what you are facing and lifting up and inviting spirit into to be with you and to be guided in that. And there you can follow your inspiration and your joy and what feels light. You know, sometimes we get hard on ourselves and we think we have to take the hardest path or the most difficult. But maybe, you know, that we need to put that on the altar and then follow what feels light and easy while we watch our mind and while we, you know, do this training, and that might actually be the guidance. So allow for that.
And what you said then is just it. It's like every time I try to figure it out and work with it's so much suffering. It's intense suffering, actually, you know, like to try and work it out. But the letting go and allowing, it's like, okay, it's like sporadic. I can do it for short times and then I'm clinging in again. So, but it is, as soon as I'm trying to work it out or do anything for myself around it, it doesn't work. But I still keep trying somehow.
Yeah, we're together in it. That's the truth. So yeah, thanks for joining with us and lifting it up here.
The opportunity.
Yeah, the ego is a pervasive addiction. And we have to just keep, like Jenny said, keep handing it over to the altar. There's it might be a Rumi poem. It's a Persian poem, and it has a line in it that says, though I've broken my vows 10,000 times, come yet again come. And so in a way, we've broken our vow of love to God by choosing ego 10,000 times or more, right? But that hand to come back to our truth is ever extended to us. So every time we notice it, it's just another decision point. What is it that I'm choosing now? And because it comes back to such a simple decision, no matter how many times or how convoluted the story is, it's just this simple choice. What am I choosing here? And we just keep at it. We just keep at it again and again and again. And eventually we get to the last time we ever have to make that choice. This is the moment of our awakening, when we set the ego's hand down completely and irrevocably. And we are all on our journey to that point.
Thank you. I think those words will be the ending of this session. It's so beautiful. And just so grateful to the Spirit for leading us home. And I'm grateful to all of you for joining in.
I am too. I'm very thankful. It's been a beautiful afternoon with you all. I know it might be evening where some of you are, or another time, but it's been great being with you.
I'll see you. We'll see you next time. Next time, Barret is not going to be part of the meeting, so I'll do the meeting on the 26th of February, and then the next one, 11th of March, we're going to do it together again. And then soon thereafter, I will travel to Europe, and Andrew and I will come to Europe. So I'll see some of you in person, I hope. But before that, what else is happening? Yeah, Eric is here. Hi, Eric. Thanks for joining in. I'll see you. We will see you on 8th of March in Ann Arbor. So that will be nice. I don't know where you are, Camille, but if you're nearby, it would be great to see you too there. Let me unmute all of you, if we can figure that out.
Should be a button at the bottom of the participants list.
I found it.
Okay.
Everyone's unmuted now.
Oh, hi. I'm in Southern California. I'm in.
Okay, I thought you were somewhere here. Okay.
So I also just want to share a couple things, is that I am near completion of a book I'm working on called Forgiving All My Lives, which will be out at some point later on this year. The subtitle is Clearing Karma with A Course in Miracles. And I'll also be speaking at the A Course in Miracles Festival in Germany at the end of May. So come check that one out too. But this has really been beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Have a
you.
wonderful rest of your day and evening. Love you.
Love you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
The recording will be available on my YouTube channel, by the way. So some people have asked for it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Bye. Goodbye.
Bye.